Out of nowhere, question of the week. Going to both my guys, Brandy Savage and Nick Ram.
Yo,
Fellas, my question tonight, before we start our show, is what makes a wrestler overrated? Their lack of in-ring skill or their lack of promo skill?
I think it's absolutely their if they have the promo skill but they don't have the in ring skill, then they're slightly overrated. They're fit for the sports entertainment aspect of it, but they aren't suited for the wrestling. So it makes it kind of overrated. Yes, you can sell tickets, you can put butts in seats, but sometimes, like when you watch a wrestler, that's poetry in motion. So yeah, I think it's when somebody can cut a promo. A promo is more of a overrated aspect.
think
Nick Ram?
think it's kind of the opposite for me, personally. I think if you could be the best wrestler, in-ring performer there is, but can't cut a decent promo, not even a can't even think of somebody who cuts a just not even a little one pop promo, then I think you're just overrated on a lot of aspects. Because you could do the in-ring stuff. And personally, I think that stuff is teachable. You could be a decent wrestler. Look, I'll put it like this. A lot of people will say Enzo Amore was a great promo. But he's not overrated because we saw how bad he was in the ring, right? It's one of those things. But he was a great promo. He was a natural star. And then let's look at somebody like Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth, who's an incredible talent. But people will say he's overrated because his promo skills were not par with the talent he had in ring.
I mean, we could go with examples all day. You could just look at the current day Stephanie Valkyrie and say that girl doesn't even talk on a mic. She doesn't even touch a mic. But she is probably one of the most over people right now. And it's because she's a beast. She don't cut promos.
What would be the best example if you had to choose a wrestler right now for the side that you chose?
Come on now. Say his name, guys. Come on. L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Decent wrestler, great promo, not overrated.
He's overrated. He's overrated. To me, he's by far one of the most overrated people.
He might be a little overrated. What about you, Niram? What a good explanation or example for you?
WWE's Ricochet was overrated. Couldn't cut a promo, fabulous in ring. We all knew it. And when he transferred over, what everyone say? Oh, Ricochet's just overrated. He's just overrated. He's just overrated. Because he let's see how he cuts promos, which he's worked on, generally gotten a little bit better. But WWE's Ricochet. Fabulous in ring, couldn't back it up with his promo skills. Overrated.
But he wasn't overrated. He was rated right where he should be. On any
comparing him to Will Ospreay. They were comparing him to Will Ospreay.
But dude, he was not
promos.
Will Ospreay's a great promo. Now I'll say 10 toes down on that.
He's gotten great.
He's gotten. I would say I'm not going to say he's gotten great. He's gotten better.
He's gotten better. He's gotten good.
But before we start the show, who's the most overrated wrestler right now?
Standing on it. Just keep my answer.
Brittany Savage got LA Knight. Nick Ram.
Go ahead and say it.
I'm gonna say CM Punk.
Wow. I was expecting Trick Williams, Joe.
I was expecting Trick Williams.
I don't think Trick Williams is. I don't think he's that overrated. I don't think he's rated that high.
Really?
Huh. Okay. Well, we got LA Knight. And surprisingly, Nick Ram did introduce Trick Williams and says that Trick Williams is rated right where he belongs as TNA World Champion. Yeah. Hey, well, we got a lot to talk about tonight, fellas. We're going to talk Liv Morgan. She's going to be getting some surgery. Asuka's back. Goldberg's back. We're going to be talking the King of the Ring semifinals. We're going to be talking some stuff that happened on AEW. But before we get into anything, let's go ahead and start our show.
Four sides of the ring. Four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion. Your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating. You know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring. Leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring. Four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion. Your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating. You know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring. Leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring.
What is going on, Ringsiders? Your favorite faction is back. I am your host, the founder, Marcus Hernandez. I am alongside tonight with the one and only bad guy of all bad guys, Brandy freaking Savage. And we are with the one that makes you say, damn, it's Knit Ram. What's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Doing pretty good, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Kenneth. Got a new sub in the building. Shout out to Kenneth. Welcome, Kenneth. Welcome to the show.
Kenneth, you're my new guy. That's a Knit Ram guy. Applied hate you.
Brendan the Guy's in the building too. He says four sides of the ring. Shouts out to Brendan the Guy. You need a championship belt, go to him. He's got you on all your custom needs. You see that? You see it in the background. We haven't said anything, and Brandy only shared one picture of it. But you see it in the background, hardcore title. Can we get a closer look, Brandy? Is that possible?
Yeah, man. I can get a closer look.
Brendan just
Ladies
gets
and
jumped
gentlemen,
right now.
He got a custom made hardcore championship for the one and only Brendan the Guy. Shouts out to Brendan the Guy. Shouts out to championship culture. He called it that. Ram in the championship culture hoodie.
It's like my favorite hoodie.
Hey, Brendan said you're his new favorite. Check out the
What?
hardcore championship.
I didn't say that.
All right.
What? He did say that.
What's your favorite thing about having the title, Brendan?
What do you mean? I
Talking
got the
about it all
hardcore title. That people, everybody in the group chats try to challenge me, and they don't want the smoke.
That's a lie. It's not even that we don't want the smoke. He just hasn't accepted any of our challenges yet.
Can't lose if I don't fight. What you mean?
That's very true. Fellas, let's jump into our show. I guess everybody's seen the news. Everybody thought it was a freak accident. Liv Morgan separated her shoulder. Knit Ram was, I'm not going to lie to everybody, Knit Ram was quick to say it was Kairi Sane's fault.
It's not what I said.
Nah. Okay. It's not what he said. He said,
not what I
if
said.
it is Kairi Sane's fault, she's going back to catering.
I said it looks bad on Kairi Sane.
I don't think it does. I think it just looks like Liv Morgan don't know how to fall.
She's always the one getting people hurt. It just looks bad. It's freak accidents.
I don't
every
think she's
time.
getting them hurt. I think these people are just getting
It's
themselves
freak
hurt.
accidents. But when you put one and one together,
It's
and it
not
equals
Kairi
2,
Sane.
there's always that one that stays in the equation.
Is it the second time that Kairi Sane's hurt Liv Morgan?
She didn't hurt Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan hurt herself.
She concussed Zoe Stark.
Liv Morgan
All right.
hurt
We're not
herself.
blaming Kairi Sane, all right? Let's stop it.
No one's doing that. I'm saying it's a bad look. It sucks. It sucks that it keeps happening in her matches.
I'll
That's
give you
what I
that.
was
It does suck that it does happen in her match. With Liv Morgan being out, looks like she's gonna be out for a few months now. Raquel got the tag team titles. Do you guys see a vacancy? Everybody's saying maybe Roxanne does something here with Raquel. How do you guys see this going? Let's start with Knit Ram.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, man. Roxanne is in Judgment Day, and you do this. Can they coexist? Except it actually makes sense now. I just don't. I think Liv being hurt damages so much plans. Like one person damaged like 4 or 5 storylines in one run, and it's crazy that happened. But as far as like the tag team titles, I think this actually gives Roxanne an opportunity to step forward. She's going to be tag champ without ever actually winning the belt, which is going to be dope.
I love that, Brendan. What do you think is happening right now with Roxanne and Liv? How do you see all this going down for the Judgment Day and all these other storylines that Liv is on?
As like a fan, I just hope they don't vacate the titles. I would hope they would give it to Roxanne and make them lose rather than like vacate the titles. But I do think they're gonna probably put the strap on her and have them take the belt off at some point, like fairly soon.
Evolution 2.
I could see that. I think I'm in the verge with both of you in a sense, right? I do think it'd be great for Roxanne to get implemented in this story, right? Like Adam Pearce tells Raquel, you're going to defend, find a tag team partner. Obviously, all the women in the back hate Raquel, so they don't want to tag with her. Finn says, like, I got you, girl. Don't worry, she's going to show up. And, Roxanne, turns out there's chemistry. They win. Maybe we see Roxanne, really take that spot for Liv Morgan. And I don't want to see the whole Dom thing, if that makes sense. If we do get it, we get it. It is what it is. But I'm not sure if I want to see that. Not with Roxanne.
We don't need it again.
We don't need it again. I think it would be cool to build on the rivalry between Dom and Finn right now without Liv there. So you build that. You have Raquel. Then you got Raquel. It's stuck in the middle. Like, well, I'm tag team partners with her. Finn's helping me out too. So I think that's the route you can go. But I think whatever you had planned for Liv Morgan, you use for Roxanne right now. So when Liv gets back, Roxanne can be like, well, I just replaced you. They don't need you no more.
But she doesn't fit in all the storylines that Liv was going to be in. It's just a tag.
You can get
she
her
doesn't fit. She doesn't fit in a Nikki Bella story. She doesn't fit in the Io Sky story. She doesn't fit. That's what I'm saying. Liv, unfortunately, had to scrap so many storylines going forward now because they focused it on her. And this
Put
one
too many eggs in a basket.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's Rhea Ripley all over again.
And I mean that's what they're about to break the glass. Emergency break. Rhea Ripley comes. That's it. Back in the forefront.
Unless Bayley, wins next week, which we're going to talk about in the show too, and Becky gets to push again, or not again. It's been a minute since she's got a push, but she gets a push.
But yeah,
we'll see.
I'm curious what Nikki Bella's going to do now.
That too. That's going to be very interesting. Maybe her and Stephanie might do something now for botching Stephanie's name on live television. I don't know. You can build some kind of story off of that. It's going to be interesting how they move forward with Liv. Maybe she's still on TV. Liv can pull off the whole I'm injured being on TV thing. You know what I mean? She's got the character to pull it off. It's just going to suck. It just sucks every time like the women's tag team is about to get elevated. One of the tag team partners get hurt.
Yep.
One of them get hurt. If it's not Liv, it's Raquel.
Or they just quit.
And sadly, you can't give Raquel a singles push.
Well, she has the Rhea Ripley storyline, but we'll see how far that goes.
We will. Speaking of the women's division, I know y'all saw Monday night, but my girl, the Empress, is back. She got a new mask. The black and white was sick. Face paint was sick. Her match was great. She had a really great showing on a return. She got the pop. I think everybody, since they announced that she was coming back, you know what I mean? But she still got the pop. Like that crowd wanted to see her. So with Asuka being back, can we see her being the Queen of the Ring? Brandy?
Absolutely. They probably won't. But if you want to tell a story, I think that's the best story for Io Sky at this moment, especially if you want to pivot with Liv Morgan being out. I think that would be your best chance to have Asuka challenge Io.
I like that. I wasn't even thinking Asuka, yeah, but I like that. I like that a lot because there's already backstory there, like you said. You can bring up all the damage control.
Apparently, you can't.
No, it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, apparently, they're not allowed to bring up damage control.
Can't even bring it up.
Damn. Maybe
we'll get there. We'll get. They're gonna bring it back for that.
You bring it up in Japanese. Nobody will ever know.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know. But I like that. I like Asuka, Io. Nitram, how you feeling?
Glad Asuka's back. Asuka is a living legend. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. She is wrestled as long as Natalya has been doing it. I mean, not for WWE, but she's a living legend. She's done it all. She's back. She looks great. Didn't miss a step. I say this loosely, a lot of older women, when they come back, tend to miss a step, especially with the kind of surgeries that people have. she looked fabulous. She still has Asuka has an aura to her that when she's on TV, it's just, oh yeah, that woman can be champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. I don't think she beats Alexa Bliss. I think they want Bliss and Roxanne, and I think Roxanne wins Queen of the Ring.
I still got Alexa winning Queen of the Ring. I do like, but now that Brandy's got me on the Io Asuka, I would like to see that too. I would like to see that for the title. I don't know. I think I'm with Brandy on this one now. I think I saw Alexa Bliss winning just with the help of Charlotte, but you know what? It is a good pivot. It's a good pivot, and it puts Io Sky in a good story.
Can I tell you guys a fact?
Which she's never had.
This is a fact. Io Sky has not defended the title since getting it at Mania.
So that's why we need to build up a story for her to defend it.
Not like they don't care. They just don't care.
I don't think it's that they don't care. It's what does Chance say? They only know how to book for one woman. Well, technically it was two women, and now one of them got hurt. So I don't know. You know what, Brandy, you got me. I like Asuka, Queen of the Ring, the Empress of the Ring, wins it all, and challenges Io Sky. And at SummerSlam, the main event, SummerSlam Night 1, Io Sky versus Asuka for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship.
It's a
storyline. Right, that sells right there.
It's a storyline. I still don't see it. I think it's going to go to someone young. And I think the Queen of the Ring will be another Latina. I think it's just going to be a Latino thing.
Okay. Fair enough. We had another return, fellas. I know y'all are hyped. We talked about it a few months ago. I think everybody's seen this coming. Nobody was really excited. I think the people that were popped there, I think it's just because you were there live. That's why you were excited for this. But the one and only Goldberg is back and told Gunther he's next. Fellas, what were your thoughts when you watched this? Did you pop? Let's start with Nate.
Did I pop, Brandon?
No, it was relatively quiet. I think I was booing. I think I was booing from the other room.
It's how it went down. How do I put this in the best way I can? Because there's people who will shit on Goldberg, right? There's just people that will shit on him. I'm not going to do that. Goldberg is a legend, and for WCW, he's on their Mount Rushmore, specifically WCW. He's a draw. I didn't pop, but the crowd still did, and they knew he was coming. Goldberg is a draw. But God, man, nobody wants this, right? And the reason I say that is because let's look at the track record of recent WWE. And I know this is not Vince's WWE anymore, but it just feels like this. This was a Vince thing to do. Goldberg comes back, beats Kevin Owens, world champion. Goldberg comes back, beats Brock Lesnar, world champion. Goldberg comes back, beats Bray Wyatt, world champion. Goldberg comes back, and there's a trend here. I think Goldberg wins the world title, and that's what scares me the most.
Yep. And then after he wins, it's Bret Hart coming down and telling him one more match, SummerSlam.
Oh, did you see Marcus? He apologized to Bret Hart. He was so sincere about it. He said he didn't know for the past 25 years that Bret has been blaming him.
What?
Yo, it's mad funny. Y'all should see that apology.
That's actually funny. I'm gonna have to look that up. Brandy, how you feeling about Goldberg, man? You feeling the same way about it, man?
I think this is awful. Like, I think this is a terrible thing to do. This is terrible for the Jey Uso run. This is terrible for booking sense. Like, this doesn't get me excited for wrestling. This is like, I don't like this. I feel like like he said, they're going back to a Vince McMahon thing, where they're not focused on the talent they have, they're focused on the past talent, and they're just bringing in a bunch of legends. Like doing this during the Cena run is taking away from a lot of on-screen talent. If you just think about it, like you're doing a lot of legend runs right now at this very moment. It just feels unnecessary at this point in time during Cena's final.
And there was
You know,
just ways to do this without the title.
That part
There
too.
was.
That's the word. That's the
There
most
was-
frustrating part.
As much as I didn't like Jey Uso's title reign, and that's the conversation for a whole different day, he did not need to lose the title for Goldberg to come back to fight Gunther. This match was already seeds planted. Goldberg could have just interrupted the Jey match, and Jey gets a quick pin roll up, the small package, landslide, however you want to do it. Gunther gets mad, challenges Goldberg. They could have did this a totally different direction without the world title. But they want the world title, so Gunther has a reason to win, right? Like that has to be the only reason. Like Triple H had to be like, "Whoa, Goldberg, you're not gonna beat Gunther." And Goldberg's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Oh, well, because he's champion."
Well, with
Like,
that being said, right? With that being said, you're saying like they're not bringing Goldberg back so Gunther could put him over, right? Like that shouldn't be in the plans.
Well, he's
But
the only one that could.
let's say Gunther does put Goldberg over in a sense, right? Let's say this does happen. Goldberg wins. Does this hurt Gunther and his solo wrestling stock when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship?
No, because it's Goldberg. See, that's the thing. It's like this won't hurt Gunther at all because it's Goldberg. I think losing to Jey Uso was worse than losing to Goldberg. Because at the end of the day, it's still Goldberg. It's like saying Brock Lesnar. Like at the end of the day, it's still Brock Lesnar. At the end of the day, it's still Taker. At the end of the day, it's still Stone Cold. These guys, regardless how old they are, have an aura that as wrestling fans, we're gonna sit there and be like, yeah, but come on, man, it's still blank. You know what I mean? It'd be different if it was like, oh, that's still Rikishi. No one's saying that. You know what I mean? Like,
even after 30 days, like we're talking, like when you go back and you look at his title reign, he held the World Heavyweight Championship for less than 100 days. Less than 100 days his first reign, less than 50 days his second reign.
Drew McIntyre held it for 5 minutes.
He got cashed in on.
Hey, facts are facts.
I don't know, man.
I think this is the lead for champion versus champion. Goldberg versus John Cena.
For me,
no, I genuinely. You like to say that like Cena? No, to say that like right now this is leading for more Goldberg matches. That's insane. No, nobody wants that. Get out of here. We'll take the one, I guess. We don't have a choice, but you're gonna give us multiple ones. We're gonna start to riot, bro. You can't like that's. I don't know, man. I don't know who the demographic is anymore.
Well, that's Nick Khan, it was gonna be my what's happening on X, but I forgot to send it to Marcus. Nick Khan said we don't write for the IWC, we write for the WWE universe. That he's not worried about what people like us have to say.
I thought I was part of the WWE universe.
They're just telling stories, and we're not part of it no more. To say that they don't care about the IWC after they just brought back R-Truth, cap.
Right. Cap. We'll see what happens with Goldberg. We got a lot till we get to what Crown Jewel, right? Is that where you're finding?
Can I say one more thing about the Goldberg thing?
Go ahead.
What if this is all for Jey Uso to win again? Because if you're right, let's say Goldberg does win. Who's to say that he doesn't verse Jey Uso and Jey Uso goes over?
On King of the Ring?
King of the Ring. It could be some like spear versus spear match, you know what I mean? Type of shit.
I'm okay. Jey Uso should not be doing the spear, by the way. But I'm okay. Jey Uso wins King of the Ring, King of the Yeats, goes after Goldberg, and that's Goldberg's final match at SummerSlam. And Seth Rollins cashes in. And then you can continue that story. I'm okay. I think Goldberg gets the title, goes to SummerSlam with it, guys. I don't know why.
It's because of the merch, bro. The merch already has the title with him on it. Like he's already holding the title in the car. The last run.
No, you guys solved the problem. I'm so happy. You guys made it. It's solved. That's it. Goldberg is gonna win. but Seth Rollins is gonna cash in on him that night.
And Goldberg's going to jackhammer him, and it's going to be a failed cash in.
I see that.
That'd be crazy.
No,
crazy.
Goldberg does not continue. Goldberg wins his final match as a champion. I guess he's not his final match if you count the cash in. But all I'm saying is that's the.
Nah, I agree with you. I think Seth might come try to cash in. Maybe Jey or maybe Roman stops him. I don't know. But Goldberg, man, yeah, I guess Goldberg does win. But like, we'll get Goldberg versus Braun Breaker. Goldberg will probably win. Goldberg versus Bronson Reed. Goldberg will probably win. And then we'll probably get like a triple threat: Gunther, Jey Uso, SummerSlam, for the World Heavyweight title, defended by Goldberg, and that's when Seth Rollins will cash in.
So we agree, Goldberg is going to be world champion in 2025.
I guess,
you heard it here first, folks. Goldberg,
I guess we all agree. I guess we all agree that Goldberg is going to be world champion in 2025. Man, it sucks to say that, though,
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. If it was Jey Uso, would it have hurt Jey Uso more than it would have hurt Gunther? Or do you still feel like because it's Jey Uso, he lost to Goldberg, so it doesn't matter?
No, I think that would have been fine too. I think the problem is Goldberg's going to win, and they don't want people to boo Goldberg. And if he would have beat the shit out of Jey Uso, people would have booed Goldberg.
Yeah,
right?
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Gunther's really good at stuff, and he's going to get booed. And let's be honest, Gunther could make Goldberg look like $1 million in 4 minutes before Jey Uso can make Gunther look like $1 million with 20.
He made Randy look like $1 million right after injury, so I kind of agree with you.
Made Pat look like $1 million. I mean, it's just Gunther's the guy.
Chance is here. He might say different.
Well, Chance isn't here. He's not in the comments either. I'm ready for him.
Let's keep moving on, fellas. Next Monday we have an Intercontinental Women's Championship match. Bayley versus Becky. Should have this just been on a Evolution 2? You built for it, right? This is a match that you would want on that PLE. Let's start with Brandy.
I think, yeah, like doesn't make sense not to, but at the same time, it's gonna be at King of the Ring, right? King and Queen of the Ring, or it's a regular TV show.
It's next Monday.
It's next Monday, so it's on a Monday.
It's upcoming Monday.
It's gonna be like then it's gonna be one of those bullshit matches. It's not gonna have an ending. I hope, because but honestly, lately they have been doing a lot of like title switches on TV.
Mm-hmm. Trying to boost those Netflix ratings.
Yeah, but no, I don't. At this point, if it's not on King or Queen of the Ring, then it might as well be on like big main TV.
You don't think it's a SummerSlam match?
No,
what about Evolution?
It's as I said, if it's not going to be on King, like SummerSlam is kind of too far ahead. Like we need to put go ahead.
What about Evolution? That's in July.
No, I'm saying like if it's not going to be on King or Queen of the Ring, then like get it over with as soon as possible.
Well, that's a whole different scenario.
That's another PLE.
When is that? Isn't that soon? Isn't it coming up this week or 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, but Evolution 2 and the King of the Queen stuff is going to be in Saudi. Two different.
Yeah, but they have regular matches on King and Queen of the Ring. It's not like they don't have title matches and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
not for women.
Say, if it's not
in Saudi. Not in
yes,
Saudi,
they do.
Not for women.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah. They have for many years now.
Title matches. Look them up. They're title matches or the King and Queen in the ring. That's it.
Is this not a title match? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought this was a triple threat, but you know what it was? We were talking about it earlier in this day that's what's going to lead to before the show in production. This is why we don't talk in post-production, pre-production. But that's definitely not a show. That's a show you leave for regular TV. It's not a title match. It's not nothing. It's barely a blood feud yet. It's on its way. It's like a 2-star rivalry.
Bayley versus Becky, 2-star rivalry for the
at this title? Moment. I don't
know, man. Kind of disagree with you. I think it's the natural blood of the 4 horsewomen.
I mean, yeah, we got the
always,
of it.
But it's like Bayley said, I've done more than you have. I've opened doors and you don't. It's like they constantly have that natural feud of which one of
Well,
us
one of you.
actually is the best 4 horsewoman. And you know, Bayley got to represent for both, and that's why she wears purple hair now.
It looks good though.
Uh-huh.
It does look good.
She's killing it. She's rocking it. You got to give it to Bayley.
But this
I
should have
think-
been the main event for Evolution. If you want me to be honest, should have been the main event.
Oh no, I don't think this should have been the main event for Evolution.
It should have been the main event. It's the
I
2
think-
biggest stars you can draw, and they should do Charlotte in it somehow.
I think this is what I think. I agree with Brittany. I think this is a false finish match come Monday. Shouts out to Jeffrey Moreno. Shouts out to the liking the purple hair.
He don't.
You're
Not
doing
liking
great.
it. You don't
think-
like it.
I think we're gonna get a false finish come Monday. Something tells me Lyra Valkyria is
That's what
gonna.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, something tells me Lyra Valkyria is gonna interfere with this match. We get the triple threat. I don't think we get it at King Queen of the Ring. We might get it at. I think it's at Evolution. We'll get a triple threat match. I don't think it's a main event because your main event is going to be one of your world titles, not your
The main event was supposed to be Io and Liv,
Morgan.
and that's
Yeah.
scrapped.
No, it could still be Io versus Asuka.
I think it's gonna be Io and Nikki Bella at this point.
Oh God.
Because
They're
Nikki
just-
Bella paved the way for women's wrestling. Jesus, dude. You know how many times I've heard that this week? They got to stop paying the
Bro.
woman to say that.
You know what,
Bro,
though?
it's
You know what,
insane.
though? You know what, though? A few weeks ago, you talked about how brothers have like the one that's a good wrestler and the other one is just like the star. It's like that for the Bellas because Bree's
Yeah.
the better wrestler
100%.
and Nikki's just a star. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do think this should have been on Evolution. I don't think, but I still think it's going to be a triple threat match at Evolution. It's just not the main event. I'm sorry, Nit Ram.
When is a mid-card title in any division the main event of something?
the main event?
Like I said, I just felt like I did say it's going to most likely be a false finish, but I feel like this is leading to bigger things.
That's true. That's
And it's going to be a
let's
triple
move
threat
on.
that I don't care about.
Let's talk about the men's King of the Ring semifinals. We got 2 big matchups, 4 big names. Let's start with Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, fellas. Something tells me Kevin Owens is going to be at this match and help Sami Zayn win. Something tells me Kevin Owens might help Sami Zayn win the entire thing and become the King of the Ring and give Sami Zayn that shot of hopefully capturing his first world title. Who do you have in this match right here? Who do you think is going to the finals? Let's start with Nero.
So easy to say Sami Zayn for storyline reasons, but at the end of the day, it's still Randy Orton. And there's one thing I will say about the princess or the king of Saudi, the Prince of Saudi, one of them, whoever's sponsoring the event, he really loves those old 90s era wrestlers. Yeah, I mean, that's just a fact. I think he wants Randy at the event. And I know no one knows if the Kevin Owens injury is work or not. But like I said, Sami versus Jey, I think, is the story to tell. So I'm gonna say Sami, but like I said, don't count Randy out. Just because the Prince of Saudi loves those old time wrestlers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, Randy Cody is also a good, good story matchup too.
Yeah.
yeah. It's a story I think they
Randy-
want to tell when he first came in, though. Not anymore.
Brandon, who you got on this left side of the bracket? You got Sami Zayn or you got Randy Orton?
Just feel like Randy Orton probably gonna run it back. Like he was in the final last year. Makes sense to throw him back in there. He's just that guy. And the story is behind the scenes that he loves him. You just make it the story is that Randy's in the King of the Ring every year and doesn't win.
And that might be that's another thing. That might be like the only thing Randy actually needs when you think about it. Randy's accomplished a lot of crap. It might be
Except
the one
being-
thing Randy needs might be King of the Ring.
King of the Ring? Does he really need it though?
And Money in the Bank? Or he won Money in the Bank.
Does he really need King of the Ring though?
Hey, when you talk about people who done it all, bro, You might as well add it to your accomplishments. He's not going to beat John Cena 17 times, but he could say, I've done more stuff than John Cena. I was once king of the ring. Mic drop.
I don't know. I don't know if King Orton moves the needle.
Hey, King Viper, bro.
You know what
As
I mean?
far as
Like,
need, the
that's-
only person who needs it is Sami Zayn.
exactly 100%.
That's left in this tournament.
It's King Yeet. Bro,
Yeah,
big
like-
crown, hands up and down.
No,
You can see it. It's corny as hell, but you can
I don't
see
see.
it.
I don't see it. I don't
The
see it,
Yeet crown,
No.
a big crown that says Yeet on it.
dude. Cody's in the tournament. That's it.
Mhm.
It's over. It's a wrap.
What are we
That
The
man
talking
American
wins.
about?
King. The American
Bro,
Let's talk
he
King.
doesn't-
fantasy booking.
Bro, he's gonna walk out with another mask with a crown, and now he's earned the crown on the mask. Doesn't his tattoo have a crown, like a crown on it, low key?
King Nightmare.
So,
The Nightmare King.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Give it to Sami Zayn.
I think Jey Uso beats Cody. So
No
Yeet.
way.
King Yeet, locking it in.
All right, let's talk. You got okay, fine. You got Jey Uso. I'm not gonna lie. I got Jey Uso beating Cody Rhodes too.
No way. Cody wins like 95% of his matches.
Well, this is the 5% he's not gonna win.
He loses one match a year, and it's at WrestleMania. I'm sorry. He loses a match every 2 years, and it's at WrestleMania. So no, I don't think he's losing at a preliminary King of the Ring match. That doesn't. It's Cody Rhodes. It just doesn't happen to him.
He could get cheated though.
Also, if Randy wins the whole thing, he challenges Gunther. That just runs back that whole story from last year, like Brendan just said. Because he didn't get that pin. It was like a whole. I mean, they did run it back, but it was like that whole my shoulders were up.
Or Sammy wins the whole thing and runs it back with Gunther when Gunther told him that he would never be in that position ever.
Yeah, you know, Goldberg has to win, bro. I don't want to see Sammy versus Gunther again.
I
Goldberg just has to
don't.
win. Whoever
wanna
wins has
see-
to fight Goldberg. Cody versus Goldberg. I don't care.
So you want to see Jey versus Goldberg?
Yep.
Because if that was the case, we could have just got to that right now.
Nah, but he has to be King Yeet.
Nah, I want to see Goldberg get hit with a triple Cody cutter. That's what I want to see.
I don't know.
Nah, Magic Cody challenges Goldberg.
That would be crazy.
Uh,
That would be pretty crazy. Let's take a small break. We'll be right back.
Dive into a world where every pinfall, every suplex, and every promo is celebrated in fashion. From the legendary 3-count trivia to the iconic bad guy wrestling, we've got the latest gear to elevate your wrestling wardrobe. Show off your passion for the squared circle. It's not just clothing, it's a lifestyle. Come shop with us and unleash your inner champion at foursidesofthering.com. That's foursidesofthering.com.
foursidesofthering.com. All our merch made by the one and only Brittany Savage. Fellas, when you see the store ad, you already know what's going on. What's happening on X? Nate Ram said he didn't have one, but you already know I come through. I'm always prepared. Fellas, Wednesday night, some crazy stuff happened, as you know. If you go to any wrestling show, AEW, WWE, after the show, they do a dark match. Sometimes they may film one of their lower promotions so they can be ready for TV. And that's what AEW did in Mexico after Grand Slam Mexico got off the air. And at the main event, Blue Panther was involved. And long and behold, the one and only Bryan Danielson shows up to protect a mentor, a friend, a colleague, somebody who's shown him the ropes in and out when it comes to lucha libre. But this guy here, Jason G from the SAT, Says, so let me get this straight. Bryan Danielson, who was taken out by Jon Moxley, the Death Riders, returns after being gone for 8 months to Ring of fucking Honor to save Blue Panther from Shane Taylor. You wasted a great run in an actual storyline he's involved in, and you ruined the element of surprise for All In. What the fuck? The only thing I agree with this is that he says you wasted the element of surprise. Yes. At All In. Tony Khan took that from us, but he gave it to those fans in Arena Mexico. He gave it to those fans that probably won't even get to watch All In, who probably didn't ever get to see Daniel Bryanson just live. It's not like he wrestled a match. The man came out to help a friend.
He did one back bump. That's it.
It's not no.
I'm saying, but that's. You know what my issue with this tweet is?
Go ahead.
Because I seen this tweet earlier, and I actually replied on it. I'm part of that 176 down there that replied to this guy specifically.
Proud of it.
Yeah, no, because this guy sounds like a complete idiot. I'll be honest with you. Because this is my thing. Bryan Danielson, who was taken off by Jon Moxley. Yes, and Bryan Danielson's last match. Please reference that. It's his last match. It was his right off TV. It's what he wanted to do. And then you go talk about, but he came back for Blue Panther and Ring of Honor. You know why he came back in Ring of Honor? Because Ring of Honor is his baby. Ring of Honor is his child. He runs creative there also. Let's not forget that. But he owes his whole career to Ring of Honor. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, is Ring of Honor. Why did he come out in CMLL? Well, because Blue Panther is the guy who inspired Bryan Danielson to even want to be a wrestler. It's his inspiration. It's the guy he had a match with, and after he had a match with, he said it was the happiest moment of his life. He cried, and Blue Panther carried him on his damn shoulders. Great freaking match. You want to talk about, it ruins the element of surprise at All In. Newsflash, Daniel Bryan's done with this storyline. He wasn't coming at All In. I don't think he's a surprise for it. Everyone keeps talking about he has to come back and save him. No, they formed the Avengers already. Watch Dynamite. It's what Will Ospreay has been doing, is forming AEW to finally outnumber the Death Riders. Bryan Danielson was not part of the plans. The big pop at All In is going to be when Swerve comes to save Hangman. That's the story they told. If you want a big pop at All In, it's when Darby comes back because he's an active wrestler. But it's not going to be Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson has made it very clear that he does not have plans to be included in the storylines. But yet we want to ignore that because he wanted to come out and have a nice moment in Mexico. A man who's wrestled all around the world, who's wrestled in that arena with his idol, Blue Panther, who's 67 years old, his idol, and get a little save spot and a pop for Ring of Honor. I guarantee you it's not even on TV. I guarantee you this is a dark segment that a fan recorded because it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And now people are making a big deal about it. I think when you try to break down AEW and you say stuff like this, I think you sound stupid. Personally. Because that's all they were trying to do, is they were trying to break down AEW to make it look stupid. The Death Rider story is beyond Bryan Danielson. It's been beyond Bryan Danielson for months, and it's more of a Darby save and a Swerve save than anything else. But people who don't watch the product want to sit here and say, Bryan Danielson was still a big part of the story. He is not. He was the start of a story, and he had no plans on coming back for it. And that's that.
I think you took all the words out of my mouth.
What am I supposed to say now? I can't top that intensity.
How do I follow that up? No, man, but I agree with you. It's like you said, man. One fan recorded this awesome moment and shared it with the world, just telling everybody, like, hey, look. And I don't even think it was a Bryan Danielson's back. It was more of a guys he's here, like he's okay. You know what I mean? It's so cool to see him. And then like you said, you got this guy and some other guys. You know what I mean? You got some marks who just want to kill the word of AEW and just kill everything that it tries to represent and stands for the sport of professional wrestling. And like you said, when you start saying stuff like this, you just sound you sound dumb. You know what I mean? Like this just no one said this was going to be a story or nothing. He just came out for a moment, took one little bump, got his boys up out of there, left, went backstage, and probably said, "All right, guys, great show." You know, there's just things, and when I seen this, and I was just like, "What is this man like truly trying to say?" You know what I mean? Because WWE brings out people on dark matches all the time. No one cares about that. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about it.
We bring out guys after injuries and stuff to come out on dark matches to warm up. We don't ever say, "Oh, why would you waste that on a dark match?" Right?
Why would you waste that Haku's debut? Why would you waste that?
He can let you. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Why would
he
you
could
waste
let
that? Why would you waste one of Dom's first matches against CM Punk on a dark match? So that's what I'm saying. You gotta be like, this guy has to be fair with it. You know what I mean? If you go on his account, you don't ever see him talking about WWE like this. And that's my thing, is these are the guys I want to sit across from and ask them, why do you hate AEW so much? What did AEW do to you that you have to feel like sit there and go out of your way, take time from your day, and then you make a post like this?
It's just, yeah, I was
It's
very
pretty
upset.
sad.
I
It
tweeted
makes
at this. I got a lot of responses.
it's just pretty sad, Like, we got to be better wrestling fans. You don't have to be the best wrestling fan or the greatest wrestling fan of all time. You know what I mean? There's guys out there that are like that, have the knowledge, can teach you in and out when it comes to professional wrestling. But just be a good fan. Be a happy fan. You don't have to go out and try to ruin something because your precious WWE, will forever run high. I don't think anybody's going to take that away from anybody. But I think what Bryan Danielson did here was fine. And you know what, Niram, I think you're right. The element of surprise isn't for Bryan Danielson to come back. That story is trash. It's gone. If he was gonna come back, it'd have been 3 months ago. Maybe even sooner. So yeah. Move on from the Bryan Danielson thing. He's not gonna save AEW. It's gonna be Darby Allin. Snow's gonna fall, and everybody thinks it's gonna be freaking Sting, and it's gonna be Darby Allin, and the world's gonna pop.
It's just gonna fall from the sky.
But you know what's crazy? That John Moxley is gonna be scared of little 165-pound Darby Allin, who just climbed Mount Everest.
But see, this is why I do like to get off track real quick. But the thing about Darby Allin coming back is that his "I don't fear death," and that's the reason why people are scared of him. He actually backed it up to climb Everest, bro. He does not fear death.
He's got to come back with like remember when Wheeler came back the first time he came out, he had this crazy bushy beard, like this man was like homeless for a couple months. That's how he has to come back. Crazy bushy beard. It's like, who is that? It's Darby Allin. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. All in, a month away. We're getting there. We're counting down the days. We'll see what happens. And we'll continue to move on. Ava, fellas, Donald the Pebble Johnson has been talking these past few weeks. And these last 2 weeks, she has made the same comment back to back. NXT is the best women's division in all of wrestling. Brandy, can you tell me why she's right?
Why do you assume I think she's right?
Oh, you
I'm joking. I mean, I think we constantly say it. It's not the best division, but it's the best booked division. They utilize it the best. They put like gravity and like story into each match, and every feud has a lore to it in NXT alone that can be brought up to the main event, the main roster, which like that's awesome. Like not a lot. You can't do that a lot. And I don't feel like they do that with the men a lot. I feel like once men come up to the main roster from NXT, they go their separate ways. But with the women, they've kind of always kept them in their stories together. But I think it's definitely the best book show. Sometimes they don't even have the best talent, but they're putting on the best stories, the best matches. I wouldn't say the best matches consistently, but definitely the most consistent, the most longest women matches, the most women's matches weekly.
Uh-huh.
So I get why she says it. It's understandable.
They definitely are having the most women's most women's matches weekly. Nick, how are you feeling about Ava's comments about her telling her roster that and the fans that NXT is the best women's division in all of wrestling right now?
Yeah, it's one of those things you keep hearing, and you're just like, oh, I wish they would stop saying that. But she's 100% correct. And Brenda hit it right on the nail. It's because they get booked so much. They're in backstage segments. They're in doing matches. They're constantly on the forefront. Like, NXT is making up for the small percentage of ring time we're getting on Raw and SmackDown for WWE. Because NXT, if I had to break it down, is probably 60% woman. And that's a me just guessing number. But how many times do I watch AEW and I'm like, oh, do better? We have this amazing women's roster. I got one woman's match the whole show. Do better. I watch Raw and SmackDown. We get one segment and a 6-minute match. Do better. NXT is giving me 10, 15-minute women matches nonstop. Back to back. Then I go backstage and okay, we get one segment with Trick Williams. And then all of a sudden we're in Ava's office and it's, oh my God, there's women champions who are trying to figure out who they're fighting. There's this. They do so much to improve on their women's division that honestly it's mind-baffling to me how they don't see the issue in the main roster.
Bingo.
I mean, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Goldberg.
You want me to counter names? Charlotte Flair.
Goldberg.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Goldberg.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Joe Hendry. No, I'm just joking. No, but I definitely agree with you, man. I definitely think that they NXT definitely does. Shawn Michaels is doing a great job with the women. You know what I mean? He does a great job with them. He grooms them the right way. He makes them stars. And like Brandy said, it sucks that the ones that he grooms to stars and they come up to the main roster and it's just like, oh man, got lost in the light, and you just hope that they could find it again. And we want to get there because look at Lyra Valkyria. I wasn't behind her when she first started. I think everybody knows that. Now I'm a fan. You know what I mean? But I hate that it took Becky Lynch and Bayley to get involved with this. You know what I mean? I hate that they couldn't do it for her by herself with the writers that they had.
Well, that's kind of what I mean, though. In a sense, though, they're using their NXT lore to continue onto the main roster, and like I said, it's rarely used for men. Like they don't use that type of story. And like with Becky and Lyra, that's a story that's been going on for 2 years. So like it's what I mean. So it's like one of those things where even like Stephanie, Roxanne, and Julia being connected, separate on shows, being connected separate, like they constantly kind of kept them together, and you can kind of see that those two might be in a feud for life, including with Stephanie as well. But that stems from NXT, and it's good. That's going to be their history.
Jeff said since Cora Jade is not on NXT anymore, it's trash.
She's 24. She has her whole career ahead of her.
Jeff doesn't even know her name now.
She still got
What's her name now, Jeff?
With NXT being the best women's division out there in wrestling right now, Ava also made a statement to Jacy Jayne. She will be defending her title at Evolution 2. With the roster that NXT has, fellas, who do you think she would be defending her title against? There's Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Jordynne Grace, Kiana James. Well, she's not on NXT, so I guess she can't be. But I feel like she's coming back to NXT. Got Kalani Jordan, though. I guess Blake Monroe, if she's announced in the tournament or the match they're going to be doing.
It's already solidified.
Oh, okay. Well, with that said,
it's a fatal four-way.
Who do you got? It's a fatal four-way?
Yeah, so Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Jordynne Grace all won their qualifier matches on NXT.
Oh, give me then give me Jada Parker.
So
give me Jada Parker.
I told Brandon this while I was watching it. There was 2 women in this tournament that I thought were the only 2 that were ready to be the world champion, and for some reason they were in the same match. I think, and that was, of course, Jada Parker, who fought Thea Hale. And I was real baffled that they kept Thea Hale off this match. I don't think this Fatal 4-Way actually has an ending. I think Fatal Influences plays a big part in this. I think we get a 6-woman ladder match for Evolution.
Still give me Jada Parker.
I think Thea Hale wins. I think she comes back in the story. She technically won the match and got cheated. I think they find a way to write her in. I think all the losers will have one more match. So it'll be Thea, Kalani. Who did Jada beat? Soruka and Izzy Dame, I think, beat Zarya. So you do one more match with those 4. It's added. You have a 6-woman ladder match at Evolution 2. I think NXT steals the show. Because Jacy Jayne, regardless who she versus, does not call. If I'm watching Evolution as a Raw fan or a SmackDown fan, right? It doesn't matter which one of these 4 women is going against Jacy Jayne. I'm going to look at it like this was the champion. I'm not watching NXT. But if you can blend her in with 5 other incredible talents, I would tune in.
I think that's unfair. I think a fatal 4-ways is. I think her versus any of these women 1-on-1 is a great match. But still, give me Jada Parker.
I think it's Izzy Dame.
Nah, I like Izzy too, but I think Jada Parker.
She's the only one with a story. She's the only one with a story.
And I
right
would say
now.
that, and people might be surprised, but listen, y'all, I have a thing that I truly don't think Jordynne Grace is going to win any gold in NXT. And just hear me out. I think that because when it comes to lineage, it won't matter in history. What you do in NXT doesn't matter. It's kind of like when you go from college to the pros. What you do in college, it doesn't matter. People will be like, oh yeah, they won a championship. You know what I mean? When they were in college, but it doesn't matter what you did. And now you're in the pros, right? And I think if she doesn't win anything at NXT and when she gets called up to the main roster, that could be her story. That's like her one thing. Because everyone can say, oh, you were the hottest free agent and you couldn't, when you got signed, you didn't do nothing in NXT. And then obviously we'll see her shine and she'll get her gold, on the main roster and become. I don't know if she'll win all 4 titles. No, yeah, she'll win all 4 titles. She's somebody who could do that. But I still think she doesn't win a single title at NXT.
I don't disagree with you. Like I think at this point in NXT, the goal is to add as many names who are going to be big deals on the main roster to the lineage of that belt. You're kind of seeing it with the men's, and you're going to see it now with this. Like it's with the women's, you want a Jordynne Grace, you want a Stephanie Vaquer, you want those names on that list. So later on, if you ever do actually make it the 3rd brand, you don't have to make a new belt for lineage. I talked about this with you guys a couple weeks ago about creating a new belt, and you guys said they wouldn't because of the names that have already been attached to it. I think it's the same thing. You want to add those names to that list.
Yeah, but I still even when that day comes and they become a 3rd brand, they're going to make something big out of it, and we're going to get new titles, so we're going to get new lineage.
Marcus, can you name a woman who was TNA champion and NXT women's champion?
No.
Exactly, which is why Jordynne would have to win. Because I would tell you what, if I'm a woman on TNA and I'm thinking, oh, they're going to treat me like Jordynne. Oh, well, they only treated her good when she was in TNA. So why would I leave?
I don't know.
And also,
like I said, it's just a theory of mine. I could be wrong. She could be North American champion. But NXT Women's Champion?
I think she's world champion, bro.
She's world champion, bro. You don't put a mid-card champion on her. She's legit.
Actually,
and there's nobody really left on the roster. Like I think you would put the NA title on Blake Monroe before you put it on Jordynne Grace.
100%. And to break it even more, if there's anything I picked up from this NXT episode is that we're gonna get TNA versus NXT. TNA champion being Trick Williams, who's NXT, and versus Oba one more time. I think they want to do Masha versus Jordynne Grace. It's someone that they're comfortable with.
They're best friends.
It's the only way. You don't want to do Jacy Jayne versus Masha Slamovich.
Well, that's the funny thing. I do think you're right about the false finish, like them getting involved, and I do believe that Jacy Jayne's gonna hold his title for a little bit. Like when it first happened, I was like, nah. But like for the reasons you named on another episode about like the champions from other places coming, I think they want to keep it on somebody, and with a story, with a faction, with something that can protect the title. Because right now they have nothing. Like nobody else can protect the title except for Izzy Dane, like you said, for reasons of having a faction and all that. I do believe that Jacy's probably gonna hold on to that for a little second.
True.
But like, it's gonna be a
True.
bunch of false finishes. It's gonna be a bunch of things that lead up to a bigger match. I do agree with you on that.
And now that you bring up, maybe with the Survivor Series thing coming up too, maybe we get NXT versus TNA. I think if that was the case, I think NXT feeds a woman to TNA, and then TNA would feed Trick Williams to Oba.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So you don't want to feed Jordynne Grace to Masha.
But you do, because it makes sense. That's the
It
woman
does
who
make
beat her for the
sense.
TNA. That's the woman who beat her for the TNA title. That's the woman who sent her packing to NXT in storyline. You can stay there. If you're gonna feed anyone, you feed Jordynne Grace.
I guess. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. We got weeks to build up on this. Fellas, question. We're all Tony D fans, but are you still interested in D'Angelo family storyline that's going on right now, or do you think Tony D just needs to be caught up already? Libre?
God, they're dragging this. I thought it was going to be done after the Stack stuff, and now Luca's back, and Luca's not ready. I hate to say it because I really like Luca, but they try to give him some promo time, and it sounded awful. They try to give him some screen time. It went really badly acted, but they're dragging it. And like, the story doesn't even need to be dragged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ava had no reason to be like, oh, their concierge signed off and then walk off. Ava, just tell them who the concierge is. Tony's about to beat old boy's ass because he thinks he's the concierge. You're the reason why people are having brawls in your office. Like, it's so dumb. I do think this leads to Stacks being on screen with his real life fiance, which I think will be pretty cool. I imagine Ariana is the concierge for Stacks. And then we'll get a mixed tag of Tony and a returning Rizzo. Man, this story just needs to stop. Like, it just needs to stop. It's really bad. It's ruining Tony D'Angelo for me. And I really like Tony D'Angelo.
It is ruining Tony D'Angelo's stock. I agree with that.
Well, I think Tony's suffering from like you compared NXT to college earlier. This dude's on his 4th year right now. He should have been called up in his 1st or 2nd. Like, it was 2 standard delivers ago that we were all like, that dude has to go up. What are they waiting for? What was it? Bro, he had the Oba match after that. Like, there's so, like, this has low-key hurt his stock, putting him in the Heritage Cup, putting him in all these things. Like, yes, he's doing successful things, but he would just be better on the main roster. He's someone will survive. Like, you could do so much with that character. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if NXT is being greedy with that, but they just need to let go.
Mm-hmm. He has story right now. You throw him on Raw, he was in prison with Dom. You know what I mean? The Intercontinental Champion. You throw him on SmackDown, you could say that he was in prison with Jacob Fatu. You know what I mean? Because that just adds up. People know Jacob Fatu's history.
And on top of that, it's just one of those things where, like, the story of him getting called up would have been, what's Tony D without his family? But now we're getting that in NXT, and it's god awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Fellas, Jasper Troy, man, listen, is he getting pushed too much? Is he a star? Let's start with that. Is he a star first and foremost?
He has everything to be one. I'll give him that. He has everything to be one. He's a big, bulky guy. He's intimidating looking. He has to fix up his look a little bit, get rid of the stupid chain. I think that's the stupidest look there is. Like, nobody's walking around. Is it supposed to be like what? That's supposed to be like a 30-pound paint. The shit looks plastic. I know that shit weighs like 3 pounds. Give that shit up. Take off his vest. I don't know why he's not listening to Gunther. Gunther was very clear on LG. You look stupid with a shirt. Take off your chest. Let it be out. But, man, they gave this guy some real star treatment, right? We'll be like, Jasper Troy was the hardest opponent I've ever fought in the entire run of NXT. What? You've lost.
Tony D.
You've lost. How is that the toughest? You beat this guy. That makes no sense. That's like if I beat Brandon in a fight, and then or Brandon beats me in a fight, and then I beat up Marcus, but I'm like, yo, Marcus was the hardest fight I ever had in my life. That don't make no sense. You like I'm waiting for them to get Javon this push, and then who's gonna get fed to Jasper Troy now? Javon Evans immediately going up to him and doing all their stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, they're really pushing this guy to be the next monster. Which, like I said, I think there's a ticking clock on Oba. Like I think Triple H is just like, yo, Sean, I want him there this day. Mark it on the calendar because they're trying to replace this Jasper with Jasper really quickly.
Mhm.
And I think it might be a little too quick. It's going to feel forced. And we're just not going to end up liking it. Unless he's healed, then we're not supposed to like it. But he's clearly a babyface right now, and I don't like it.
Agreed. I feel like he needs a mouthpiece. I don't think his promo work is all the way there. I think he needs a good mouthpiece to just really set him off and put him over. Bernie, how are you feeling about Jasper?
I think it's a lot too soon. It's just he's good, but I don't know. I didn't realize like LFG was basically the breakout tournament where it's like you immediately go to the top. I don't know. I just feel like he said, there's so many tougher people in NXT like that he's faced, the main roster people, all these. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Like it's already starting to feel forced. I think that's my issue with it. But like I was a fan of his on the show, but I don't like that the character we saw in LFG is who we got. I thought we were gonna get something new. And it's the same exact guy with like an added element of a chain. And like Martin said, get rid of the damn vest. Why are you not listening to the veterans?
You said something.
Genuinely don't think he would have won without Gunther's advice.
At all.
Oh, at all. And you really said something. We knew the winners were getting NXT contracts. We didn't know the winners were going to be, put into the main event, into the world title picture.
Let's check on winners because Tyra May still is not getting this same treatment that Jasper.
Okay, you're right. I feel like Tyra's getting the treatment that I felt like. I guess that's the treatment that I wanted to see. You know what I mean? She comes in,
Right.
She's a rookie. She
got one match.
A lot of people had one match. Not a lot of people fuck with her. She's still trying to prove that she could do this. She's good, right? But Jasper, man, my man, like Nick Ram said, came in with his 3-pound chain and said, "Nah, I'm top dog now." Literally, his first promo. Like, I'm top dog. Like
I'm making a statement. Okay. You made it, bro.
Right.
I don't know. You might want to go. You might want to chill, saying he needs to work on his promo skill. Because may I remind you, this is the guy who shut CM Punk up on LFG and had the best promo of the entire show.
I remember that.
We'll see what happens with Jasper Troy, and as he moves on and maybe becomes the new NXT World Champion. We'll see what happens. We got a long way to go, a lot of story to build. And I guess the question is right now, can Shawn Michaels make us get behind Jasper Troy? We're gonna see. He's got a big brand new toy that we all have to get behind. And right now, the IWC is torn apart. It is a woman. The IWC is torn apart because they're fans of Miss Blake Monroe, but then you got a lot of other people saying, what is this? This is still Mariah May. This is Timu Toni Storm. She's not changing anything. She's just biting off everything she did over at AEW. So, fellas, I want to bring this question to you. Does Blake Monroe feel more like Mariah May, aka, / Toni Storm, or does she feel like a new character? Let's start with Brandy Savage.
It's tough because I wouldn't say it's Toni Storm because it's a lot more lively, but it's definitely a rip of TV, like your classic TV show. It may not be from the same era. There's a lot of elements that kind of track and follow, but if it works, why would you change it? That's how I look at it. Especially if you can add a new element to it. My only complaint is I don't even think she's that close to Toni Storm. She feels close to Tiffany Stratton. And it's funny because I even brought up Blake Monroe to my brother. I showed him watch this promo, whatever, and he was like, "I just see Tiffany Stratton." Okay. And then I see, when you look at the entrance, the jump out the Tron and stuff, how could you not? I know it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but it's very close to Barbie.
Agreed. Niram, how you feeling about Black Monroe? Do you think she's still Mariah May, or do you?
I think she's Mariah May impersonating Toni Storm, and not even in a bad way. It was one of my favorite storylines in the entire AEW. The problem is that I look at that promo that she cut. That was AEW promo, had its everything checking off boxes. Beautiful accent, talking old timey, check. Lesbian innuendos, check. You know the problem with that is? It didn't get the reaction because the WWE NXT crowd don't care for stuff like that. And I think she has to figure out who Blake Monroe is, because the Mariah May that we were all into, which was doing the kissing of Mina and the kissing of Toni Storm and the I love this woman and I might be lesbian, but only the fans really want that. That's not translating in NXT. That's not what people want, and she should have known that if she would have went on the IWC, because that's all they made fun of her when she was in AEW for. I think she has to really be the one to break out of her AEW character, which sucks because her AEW character was flawless, but it was flawless because of the hand it was given and who it was given with.
I mean, I agree with you in a sense. I don't think she thinks Blake Monroe is Mariah May. You know what I mean? I feel like she thinks it's her own character, because, like Brandy said, she's not stuck in this like 20s, 30s, 40s TV time. She's stuck in this like 80s, 70s, TV theme. I wish she would have done something different, because I feel like creators should have told her, if we go with this, they're gonna say, you're just bringing yourself over from AEW, carrying it over, right? You're just biting off what made you famous. So we have to go a different route. But obviously, creative didn't do that. They went with the route that she wanted to go with. And I think that's why people are so. I think that's why the IWC is talking about it so much, because you didn't do nothing. Like, first of all, you baited this whole transaction of you going to the WWE, and then you get to a new home and you didn't give us nothing new. You technically still gave us the same thing. And like you said, it doesn't translate to the NXT crowd, because that's not what the NXT crowd is used to. So yeah, I think you hit it on the button right there, Nate Ram. She has to figure out who Blake Monroe is for WWE.
And you know what sucks about that is, like, Mariah can wrestle circles around all those. I will stand 10 toes down on that. Mariah is my women's match of the year this year. Like, I have not seen a women's match better than the final ending. And that being said, she's the only one that actually has to do that. And it's because the Toni Storm character is so iconic. It's so legendary. And her character work was based off Toni Storm. You know what I mean? But like anyone else that comes from AEW could easily bring their character over. Ricky Saints is Ricky Starks. He's still the stroke daddy. He's still kissing people's foreheads. You know what I'm saying? Ethan Page is still cocky Ethan Page. Lexis King, that's a different story. He didn't really have character in the other place either, so I'm glad they gave him one. But, Aleister Black is still Aleister Black, which is still Malachi Black, which went back to Aleister Black. Rusev is the Redeemer. Like, it's easy to carry it over, but her character, like I said, was so iconic for AEW because of the story that it was in, that it kind of doesn't work without Toni Storm. You know what I'm saying? If Britt Baker, which this rumor was already debunked, but if Britt Baker was to sign to WWE, and she came in and did the DMD, that's fine. Because that's a whole character that she is. It's a character that she was always gonna be. But Mariah May, our introduction to her, if you weren't watching Stardom, but our introduction to her was, I love Toni Storm. Later it became, I want to be Toni Storm. I betrayed Toni Storm. I'm better than Toni Storm. I am Toni Storm. Toni Storm is me. Blah, blah, blah. And, we all watched how that unraveled. So you take that to WWE and you're still that character, it doesn't work because there is no Toni Storm there.
But there is a Mariah May.
There's a Blake Monroe actually, but
No. What I'm saying is there's a Tatum Paxley who can play that role, and you run it back.
You
they
run it
do
back.
like her Barbies. She like her
Let's
Barbies.
That's what I'm saying.
let's take a small break. We'll be right back.
What's up, my fellow bad guys? Just when you thought we were down bad, Brandy's here to pick us right back up. Thanks to our partnership with SeatGeek, we got good seats and great prices. New users can score a fantastic $20 off their final ticket purchase by using the exclusive promo code 4SIDESOTR at checkout for any event. That's 4SIDESOTR. Tell them the bad guy sent you.
Tell them the bad guy sent you. 4 sides of
I
TR
sent you.
SeatGeek. You already know what's up, fellas. When you see the SeatGeek sign, you already know what that means. Move the needle. And I have a different move the needle tonight. Well, not different. I guess all the move the needles are the same because we're asking if a wrestler moves the needle. But we got a champion on the board. Miss Zelina Vega, does she move the needle as United States Women's Champion? Let's get the thoughts of Nitram.
Of course she does. Zelina has an appeal to her that she is the average woman. Zelina is the underdog, guys. Like, she is a short Latino woman from New York. And if she can do it, any of these little girls can do it. I think Zelina absolutely moves the needle. I just don't think they present her as if she could. I can't think of a storyline that she's gotten to when she won the title, and it's similar to when she won Queen of the Ring. She won Queen of the Ring. It was super dope. And then they were like, oh, yeah, Zelina, all right, stop crying, go to the corner. But no, like, book her. Zelina's moveset is incredible because she has a luchador moveset. She's small. She's believable. She cuts good promos, and she's a nerd. She does cosplay. She does streaming. She does video game. She's an everyday person. Zelina Vega not only moves the needle, but realistically, she's us. She's just another Puerto Rican from New York setting an example that dreams can come true. So yes, Zelina Vega is amazing.
Brandy Savage, does Zelina Vega
Man,
move the
and
needle?
what I say
Once
about
again,
Karrion
how could
Kross
you-
a couple weeks ago. And I know I can't top that intensity. How am I supposed to follow that? But I mean, he's not wrong, but also at the same time, it's she's never been presented as someone who moves the needle, even though when she gets her few minutes, it's good stuff. This championship run though hasn't been great, so I'm gonna solely put it on this championship run. And I'm gonna ask, has it moved the needle? And it hasn't, unfortunately. But I don't even think that's her fault. I think it's the same things we said about Karrion Kross a couple weeks ago. Which same thing, New York, Puerto Rican. I have to say yes, she moves the needle. But man, it's tough because like he said, she's always an underdog. So if that's the story you're into, then she's perfect for it. But a lot of people don't get behind that. It's hard for you to get behind it.
That's true. That's very true.
It's been done.
Let us know if Zelina Vega moves the needle for you guys in the chat. She moves the needle for me. I'm a big fan of Zelina Vega. Always have been a huge fan of Zelina Vega. I'm with Brandy Savage though. The title run has been dry, and I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming creative, and I'm blaming the small roster that they have for that mid card title. So, like Nitram said, do better. Fellas, Grand Slam Mexico was this Wednesday, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Their 2-hour show was better than both 4-hour shows that they had in the previous 2 weeks. In fact, I even said, why was this not the 4-hour show? Like, if you wanted to give us 4 hours, Tony Khan, Grand Slam Mexico should have been your 4-hour show.
But we got
We didn't
2.5.
get that. Right, we got 2.5, and we got a good 2.5. It was a really good 2.5. We had some amazing matches. MJF and Mystico was a flawless match. Mystico is A1. Now I know why people like put that title that he is the greatest luchador, out there.
Dude, he's the John Cena of Mexico. Did you see that reaction? That
Oh, yeah.
heartfelt reaction?
No, yeah, that was amazing.
Like, it was honestly, I forget how big of a deal Mystico is because I only see him in different promotions.
Mm-hmm.
But man, seeing him come out like grown men crying, bro. Mystico is not only the biggest deal in Mexican wrestling right now, but like, dude is the Michael Jackson of Mexican wrestling. Fans were willing to find MJF's hotel room to try to kill him because of Mystico. Like, it's like a whole thing, bro. Mystico, I mean, I have this mask here, but I don't have it with me right now. I should have had it prepared. Mystico is the guy.
Mystico is definitely 100% a legend. He had a great dance partner in the ring too. We all know Nick Ram's a huge fan of Mr. MJF. I'm a huge fan of MJF too. Brandon Savage is a fan. And I think MJF, guys, is really, we were all kind of worried, like, what's MJF, when he's not around the world title picture, without, gold around his waist, or if he's not chasing the title. You know what? And I think MJF is really proving to everybody I could fit in wherever they need me to be. They want me to be a part of this faction, I could do that. They want me to go out there and have these great matches, I could still do that. And MJF, I think, is really showing his greatness in this era of wrestling, to the point where when you start talking about who some of the great, the greatest guys, coming up, MJF's name will probably be said. Great in ring, great on the mic. Do you think MJF has come? Do you think he's better now where he's at, or when he was world champion?
I think when it comes to MJF, it's just that he just constantly is getting better. From 2019's Cody Rhodes storyline to CM Punk to his world title reign to right now. It's just like he constantly improves. And it's just like he doesn't ever really get stale to me. Like, I can't think of a time, maybe the Jeff Jarrett thing, but man, they cut that off quick, right? Like, that was 2 weeks. They were like, yo, we could put MJF doing something better. But
no, it's because they realized they were going down a road that Jeff Jarrett would have to win the AEW World Championship, and they were like, we don't want that.
Yeah. Even MJF couldn't make Jeff Jarrett champion. But it's just one of those things where, like, man, MJF is like, I tell Brandon all the time, like, MJF didn't have to be part of the Hurt Syndicate. But man, it really just raised the stock of that whole storyline, to be honest. And it's just something great about it. Because, like, MJF is probably the best wrestler under 30. I mean, off the top of your heads.
Will Ospreay? How old is Will Ospreay?
I think he might be 30. Now that's a list.
Are we just talking like in ring?
I'm talking about the full package.
Will Ospreay's 32.
Okay. I don't know. I like Ricky Saints. I think he's really great in ring.
MJF is 29. Best wrestler under 30. Ricky Saints is older than 30. Javon's great, but he's not MJ. They're not MJF levels.
Dominic Mysterio?
Dominic Mysterio is way better than MJF. Dominic Mysterio is way better than MJF, bro.
No.
Can't change my mind.
Sorry. Can't change my mind.
Dominic Mysterio. Let's move on.
Hey, ESPN says Dominic and then MJF. I'm just saying. It's not even just us.
ESPN's a WWE product.
I don't know if I can agree with ESPN. They had that Jonathan the Coachman's on their team. You know what I mean?
Whoa, he's been beefing with WWE.
He just be saying
they got Tony Storm third.
Let's continue moving on. Brandy, Hologram has been undefeated since he's joined AEW, since they announced Hologram, right? Kids love him. Everybody loves him. What's next for this guy? Are we seeing a title shot? TNT title shot? Adam Cole needs something to do. He probably needs to drop that title, but can you see Hologram going for some gold here before All In?
I can see him going for it, but I definitely can't see him winning the gold. The dude's special, but I don't know.
29.
I feel like that's insane. I didn't even know that stat.
Dude,
so yeah. He's going for the gold just to lose.
Okay, Nitro.
Yeah, I just hope it's not Ring of Honor gold. You know what I mean? Like, I hope he's not undefeated in AEW and they're like, oh, we're gonna put him against Bandito, which would cook. Not even taking that away, but it's like, yeah, give him Adam Cole, give him, give him Hangman.
You can't give him Okada or Kenny yet. You know what I mean? That's the only guy you could give him is Adam Cole, because you're not going to give him Hangman or John Moxley.
I throw the strap on him, man. If
Oh
he's
my! What
selling
if
those
hologram is the
masks,
savior? What if hologram is the savior of AEW?
that'd be hilarious. 'Cause nobody would see it coming. Jesus.
I just did.
But also, like, I hate. Nah, don't put the CML title on. Yeah, as long as it's an AEW title, and it's
You're
not
cool
even
with
me
it?
shitting on Ring of Honor. It's just, yeah, he's undefeated in AEW. And a company where they make a big thing about wins and losses matter. How are we overlooking this?
Well, he just got back. He's just getting back from injury.
Hey, man.
He
I
ju-
don't know.
he-
We don't know if
he's
that's
ne-
even him. Anybody could be wearing that
he's
mask. Remember when
he's
Harley
literally
Cameron was
he's
hologram?
literally
She was Harley Graham.
she was Harley Graham, yeah. But yeah, he's just coming back from injury, 29-0. I do think some goals in his way. I think TNT title, Adam Cole and him should cook. That'd be a great match. And we'll see where we go from there, fellas. Let
I
me
just want to make it clear, though. He's undefeated in all types of matches, not even single matches.
yeah, all types of matches. Yeah.
It's just even more impressive.
You know what was really impressive? Hangman Adam Page cutting that entire promo in Spanish. Now
He
that
knows
was
more
impressive.
Spanish than I do.
That was impressive. So yeah, shouts out to Hangman Adam Page for if you took the time to do that, and you had to because obviously you did it. But if you are fluent in Spanish, that's just awesome.
Well, did you see what he actually said? I saw the whole translation. But it's pretty much about how, like, when he was younger, he worked on a farm, and on that farm there were Latino Mexican people there, and that's where he learned Spanish from because he would work with them, and they treated him like family. It was real nice of what he said. So
I believe that.
Hangman's
It was
the
just real
guy.
awesome. It was just real awesome to see, and he tells the world that he stands with AEW. He will be battling out. He was already gonna battle out the Death Riders, you know what I mean? But he's standing with AEW. He's gonna do everything he can to take that title and bring it back home. And we'll see. We'll see what he does. But shout out to Hangman Adam Page for really stepping up as a wrestler when it comes to promos and cutting that entire promo in Spanish for the fans to understand. And like he just didn't give a crap about American television. You either understood it or you didn't.
Yeah, Jason, that guy who tweeted that earlier, said, "Oh, so I come in to sit for the first 15 minutes on a promo I can't understand. Why would I stay there?" Shut up.
Yeah.
WWE does it all the time.
It wasn't for you. Just shut up.
God forbid they go to San Diego and now the whole freaking 15 minutes of Spanish promos. Selena Vega cuts promos in Spanish all the time. Stop.
Io Sky cuts half her promo in Japanese all the time.
But that's intense. It's always lit.
It's always lit. No, I love it. I think it's she should always do it. You know what I mean? We'll see. Fellas, we had some history. History was made also Wednesday night. All right. First of all, shout out to Mercedes Moné. She became CMLL champion, but she is also the first woman ever to wrestle in the Big Four. And when I'm talking about the Big Four, I'm talking about arenas, stadiums, but she has wrestled at the lovely, fabulous, historic, greatest stadium of all time, Madison Square Garden. If you go out to London, they have a stadium that's humongous. She's wrestled in Wembley. Japan holds their biggest event at this arena every year. She's wrestled at Tokyo Dome. And Wednesday night, she had the privilege and honor to wrestle at Arena Mexico, marking off the 4 major arenas you want to wrestle at as a wrestler. Now, if you are a wrestler, I have that question. Why are those the 4 major ones? Is it because the history that they carry, the crowds? Why are those the 4 major arenas that you want to wrestle in? Why do they mean so much?
I'll give it a shot here. As far as Madison Square Garden goes, it was always off the market unless you were a WWE superstar. And that was the wow. That was the tale for a long time until New Japan had their show in Madison Square Garden, which WWE did try to block. But, they were too busy with Barclays, as The Miz would say. So it's like one of those things where, if I, as a pro wrestler, and I'm not talking about the theater, I'm talking about Madison Square Garden. The only way I'm ever going to get an opportunity to wrestle in Madison Square Garden is if I'm in WWE. She did that. Box check. The Tokyo Dome, it's the same thing. right? Like you just said, it's their biggest event of the year. It's the Tokyo Dome. Legends wrestle in the Tokyo Dome. The love of the Tokyo Dome is what it is. People all around the world say they want to wrestle in Tokyo, they want to wrestle in Japan. When they say that, the goal is to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome because that is the most iconic wrestling stage and probably the biggest that you're going to get as far as crowd reaction. You know what I mean? As far as legends wrestled here, the greats have put their boots on and rubbed it right here. Then you go to Arena Mexico, the home of CMLL, which is the longest lasting wrestling promotion ever. Not North America, ever. And this has been their home. So unless you're solidified with CMLL, you don't get that privilege of being there. It's legendary. They never turn their back. This is where we stand. This is the home of CMLL. And as far as Wembley, I mean, you know, AEW kind of set that trend, but it was just like, what was really going on there before? But it is the biggest stage.
Whoa.
And
Wembley was going on.
Well, exactly, but it's the biggest stage as far as soccer events, as far as
tennis events.
Right. So it's like that is an incredible achievement. And then, you know, you think of the crowd if they draw. So Mercedes had the opportunity to do all this. She just keeps checking boxes after boxes after boxes after boxes. And it's one of those things where when you talk about the 4 horsewomen, why do you have to rank Mercedes so high? Look at everything she's done. And the other 3 are never going to have those opportunities as long as they plant their feet and collect a check. Mercedes took a risk. And she got to achieve something that no one else is ever going to do. I mean, you know, other people will do it, but you get my point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think everybody's been getting your points tonight, man. Yeah, you've been dropping the mic, and Brittany Savage is just like, damn.
Yeah, I'll keep it simple. Yes, longevity, history, attendance. It's a combination of all 3. When it comes to Wembley, it's the attendance. When it comes to Mexico, it's the history, it's the crowd. Japan, the history, the crowd, the attendance. MSG, all those places we just named are prestigious places, and also a place you dream to wrestle in. Hence why Daniel Bryan came out. Hence why, like, you know what I mean, you don't take those like opportunities for granted. They don't come every so often. They only come every so often, and sometimes you may not be healthy. Sometimes you may not be. That's why Bryan Danielson comes out. That's why it's incredible when she made history doing that. It's those type of things. You can sell it short, but why wouldn't Bryan Danielson want to show his face at such a prestigious place? It's that, you know what I mean? That's the reason. So when it comes to Mercedes, yeah, like, it's amazing. She's the GOAT, man. She's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT. She killed it, man. She definitely, it was a great match, first and foremost. She won. She's 5-belt Moné right now. She got suplex at the end. It was just a great showing. Shouts out to AEW. They had a really good showcasing for Arena Mexico. Like, it just, everything, the aestheticness of the show just looked fantastic. It was just a really fun show to watch. With that being said, fellas,
that's 6 belts now.
6 belts. I'm sorry, 6 belts. Yeah, you're right. With that being said, I asked it on our collab show last week when I was talking to Chance and Mike. Who do you guys feel like had the better partnership when we're talking, you know, the partnership between WWE and AAA and AEW and CMLL? After both their events within the 2 weeks, first of all, let me say, shout out to both wrestling promotions showing out for Mexico and just doing wonderful things for lucha wrestling. They really, both shows were fantastic. They were great, and they did tremendous things for the sport of wrestling, and they did tremendous things for lucha wrestling. But who do you think incorporated their partnership the best? Let's start with Brandy.
So I guess, like, it's hard to say like who incorporated their partnership the best, because like one of them kind of put their element into their wrestling, and the other one kind of left it free for grabs. You know what I mean? Like, AEW didn't change much going into it, where it's like, this is what we do already. Whereas WWE slightly adjusted to Luchador, but mostly the Luchadors adjusted to WWE. And So it's really a matter of like what do you define success in that situation? But I think keeping it in its true nature is probably always for the best. So I would have to say AEW.
Okay, Nitram.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Brandy. I think it depends how you really want to look at it. I think what WWE did better, as far as what they did with the Lucha partnership, is they definitely took luchadors and made them stars that you want to see on a weekly basis.
Mhm.
You know, Mr. Iguanas, the Wagner Juniors, it's just like we started seeing them on NXT. But yes, it had more of that WWE entertainment feel to it. As far as when AEW, it felt more authentic. This is what luchadors do, and AEW is going to do what we do, not we're going to do what AEW does. You know, there was a big difference from when Mystico came out and AEW to confront MJF compared to when he came out Arena Mexico. And like I said, grown men were crying. There was a big difference of wrestling style that even the Don Callis family was adjusting to. You know, I mean, even with Beast Mortis and Atlantis Jr. and all them. But it was just like they were more authentic to what they see in Mexico. As far as WWE was more, who can we make a star here for us? And I don't think either way went the wrong way with it. Because, like they said, Mr. Iguana probably going to have mad merch. Stock going to be super high. But what do they do in AAA? We don't know. As far as I know how much of a big deal these people are in Mexico now because of the way that they were presented. Compared to when they go to AEW, I'm not worried about buying Mystico merch compared to like buying Mr. Iguana merch. So I think in a sense they both kind of won, but if I had to say something because I like the authenticity, I think AEW did do it better because they displayed what Mexico was about more than what we're about.
Okay. Interesting. Before we jump into our main event question tonight, last week I asked Mike to put these guys in a ranking. I'm gonna ask the two of you to do the same thing. When it comes to in-ring wrestling, who is the worst? Ultimate Warrior, Ryback, or Goldberg?
Just in-ring ability?
In-ring wrestling.
Ryback is the worst one.
I gotta say the same answer. Feels like the safe answer.
You know what? Mike said Goldberg. Or no, yeah, Goldberg. Or no, he said Warrior. He said Warrior, Ryback, Goldberg.
Well, Goldberg would be last for me too. I think Ultimate Warrior is somewhere in the middle. Just depends how coked up he was.
Fact
All
though.
right. Let's move into our main event question of the evening.
It looks like all the talking has been done. It's time for the main event.
Well, this main event question of the evening. What should a wrestler's last match truly represent? Should it represent homage? Should it represent a passing of the torch? What should it truly represent? Let's start with Brandy Savage.
I don't think it should ever be passing of the torch. Okay, it's tough because like sometimes it should be like when you look at like a Kurt Angle's last match, that should have been a passing of the torch, but it was to the wrong person. But I feel like in most cases it should be about what their career is, what their career represents, and like if you can, because sometimes somebody's most biggest match might be someone who's retired. But if you can, it should be a rematch of their biggest match. That's just how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Martin?
I think it needs to be something that's sentimental. I think of people's last matches that were their true last matches. And I hate to say it, but like the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair match, I really wish he would have still retired after that because that match was beautiful. Because I like, you just brought it up. Kurt Angle was my favorite wrestler of all time. You know this. Everyone knows this at this point. But man, was his retirement match the worst one I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But then I watched somebody like Sting's retirement match, and they gave him the full red carpet. You know what I mean? And it was beautiful. It wasn't like really a passing of the torch or anything like that, but it was something really nice. It was beautiful. I don't think it needs to be a feud. I just think it needs to be something that's sentimental. Sabu's final match, may he rest in peace because it's recent, but it was that extreme death match kind of match that Sabu was legendary for. He got to go out on his own terms. And a final match should be something that when we sit down and talk about it, like, oh yeah, remember their final match? It should never be like, yeah, they shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Shawn Michaels' final match shouldn't have been in Saudi Arabia. It should have been that Undertaker match. Kurt Angle's final match should have been John Cena. I stand 10 toes down on that. It shouldn't have been Baron Corbin. But even if it was Baron Corbin, that's fine. It just could have been a better match. That match sucks. But Ric Flair's genuine final match when he tags with Andrade wasn't even a bad match. It was decently well put together. I want a final match regardless of who it is. You got a lot of legends now coming back. John Cena's final match doesn't have to be Cody Rhodes. It doesn't have to be for the title. But man, do I want it to be rememberable, and I want it to have some kind of homage where it pays respect of John Cena gave 25 years or 20 years of this business. Mm-hmm. His final match was just that. You know what I mean? Undertaker's final match was great for his final match. People deserve to go out on a high note. Now, if you come back from retirement and you ruin your high note, that's on you. Ric Flair's had 3 final matches. 2 of them were good. But it's one of those things where, because I love the sport so much, I never want to see someone get a bad last match. Because what was the point? You just shitted on someone's whole career.
Yeah. And the worst part, too, is when they say this is their last match, and then they come back and do another last match. And then they come back again and do another last match.
Goldberg, perfect example, keeps saying he wants to retire. He wants to retire by SummerSlam. This is going to be his final year. If that's the case, then I really do hope Goldberg's last match is something decent. As long as he never comes back.
It's going to be Jey Uso. He's going to eat the spear from Jey Uso.
Then Frey be with the Ye King. That's cool. John Cena's final match, and I mean, that's someone they have to pull the red carpet out on. I really do think it's going to be Cody Rhodes, which is awful. But as long as the match is legendary good, I won't care. And I feel like it's harder for whoever the last match is with.
100%.
Kurt Angle's last match was harder for Baron Corbin and his career than it will ever be for Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Taker's last match.
It's a good match, bro. Chill out.
It was okay. It was tough to watch, but it was okay. I liked his AJ Styles match more than I liked anything.
Yeah, that Boneyard match was good.
But, fellas, that's our show. You already know what it is. Jeffrey Moreno still, he's hanging out in the chat. He wants to know if we do meet and greets. He wants to hang out. He says Nick Ram looks cool to hang out with in chat.
That's pretty cool to hang out with.
It also says that don't talk about Ultimate Warrior like that again.
Only a couple people that like Ultimate Warrior fans, and they all have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, fellas, you already know what it is. Go ahead and get your plugs while we get up out of here.
Yeah, I'm Brandy Savage. I'm on Twitter, and you can find me at Life and Times with a Y on Instagram.
And I'm the one that makes them say, oh, damn, I'm Nit Ram. And you can catch me on Twitter at NITRAM4SOTR. That's NITRAM_4SOTR.
You can follow me at the Founder MH, but most importantly, follow us on all of our social media platforms. 4 Sides of the Ring podcast on Instagram, 4 Sides OTR on X. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Threads. 4 Sides of the Ring on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. Y'all been commenting on TikTok. Y'all been showing the love, so do that. But if you've been hanging out with us, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Tell all of your wrestling fans about us, because we love wrestling, and no one has better opinions than 4 Sides of the Ring. You already know what it is. We are Four Sides of the Ring. You guys enjoy Friday Night SmackDown, and always remember, if you're not enjoying wrestling, you're just not watching it right. Catch you guys next week.